Have you ever felt that pull? That nagging feeling that there's something bigger waiting for you, just beyond the horizon? A secret so grand it could change everything? For Jack Hunter, that feeling was about to become his reality. Jack was a man who lived his life by the books. A quiet, thoughtful archaeologist, he spent his days lecturing about ancient history, diving into the past with nothing but paper, ink, and a few dusty artifacts. His world was predictable, safe, but that was all about to change. He had no idea that one simple discovery would send him on a journey that would test everything he thought he knew. It was late evening in Jack's small office. The fluorescent lights hummed above as he sat hunched over his desk, papers scattered like fallen leaves. The soft ticking of a clock was the only sound. He'd been staring at the same map for hours, but this time something caught his eye, a symbol he'd never seen before. Jack leaned in closer, his glasses slipping down his nose. His fingers traced the ancient faded markings, his mind racing. "What is this?" he muttered. The map, aged and brittle, seemed to show a route to a temple deep in the Amazon rainforest, a place long thought to be lost to history. But why had it been hidden, and why was he finding it now? Suddenly his phone buzzed, an email from Dr. Maria Castillo, a renowned archaeologist and an old friend. "Jack," it read, "I heard about the map. I've seen the signs. The Amazon calls to us, and I think we both know it's time to go. Are you in?" Jack stared at the screen, his heart pounding in his chest. This was it, the adventure he had only ever read about in books. He didn't have to think twice. With a smile spreading across his face, he typed back, "I'm in." The very next morning, Jack found himself on a flight to the Amazon. As the plane climbed, he looked out the window. Below him, an endless sea of green stretched as far as the eye could see. For the first time, Jack felt truly small in the face of such vastness. Landing in Brazil, the heat hit him like a physical force. The air was thick with humidity, and the rich smell of wet earth and exotic plants filled his senses. He wiped sweat from his brow, the sticky warmth clinging to his skin. Maria was waiting for him at the base camp, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she joked as they shook hands. Jack managed a smile. "Just trying to wrap my head around what's ahead of us." Together they hiked into the jungle. The sounds of the rainforest enveloped them, the distant calls of unseen birds, the rustling of leaves in the canopy, the occasional snap of a twig underfoot. The jungle was alive, and with each step, Jack felt like he was walking back in time. The dense foliage closed in around them, but he didn't mind. The air was thick with mystery, and he could feel the weight of history pressing down on him. "How much further?" he asked Maria, his voice tinged with exhaustion. "We're getting close," she replied, her gaze constantly scanning their surroundings. "But be ready for anything. The jungle is unpredictable." Suddenly, a noise, a faint rustling from the trees behind them. Jack spun around, his pulse quickening. "What was that?" he whispered. Before Maria could answer, a shadow darted between the trees. "Stay close," she ordered, her hand resting on the machete at her hip. They quickened their pace, but Jack could feel it, that unsettling sense of being watched. The rustling grew louder, closer. Then, a figure emerged from the underbrush, blocking their path. He was dressed in dark, practical clothing, his expression as cold as stone. Maria stepped forward. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice steady but cautious. The man's eyes narrowed. "I'm Thomas Reed, and you're standing in my way." Jack's heart skipped a beat. He knew that name. Thomas Reed was an archaeologist, but one known for his ruthless methods and his belief that history was something to be owned, not shared. Jack didn't trust him. "We're not looking for trouble," Jack said, trying to keep his voice calm. "We're just here to explore. This temple belongs to history, not to any one person." Reed sneered. "That's where you're wrong. I've been hunting that map for years, and now I'll be the one to claim what's mine." Maria's eyes blazed. "We're not going to let you steal history." For a moment there was only silence, the tension so thick you could feel it in the humid air. Then Reed let out a cold laugh. You'll regret standing in my way." The journey had taken a dangerous turn. With Reed's threat hanging over them, Jack and Maria pressed on, their path becoming more treacherous by the minute. The air was thick with tension as they neared the location marked on the map. Adrenaline coursed through Jack's veins. Finally, they reached a clearing, and there it was, the temple. Its stone walls were half hidden by thick vines and ancient trees that had reclaimed it over centuries. The structure seemed to pulse with a quiet, forgotten power, its secrets waiting. "This is it," Jack whispered, his voice filled with awe. But Maria's expression had changed. "Something's not right," she said, her voice trembling slightly. Before Jack could ask what she meant, a sudden, deep roar echoed through the jungle, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. A magnificent beast, a jaguar, emerged from the shadows, its eyes gleaming in the dim light. Maria lunged for her machete, but Jack grabbed her arm. "Wait, let it pass." For a long moment, the jungle was utterly still. The jaguar's eyes locked with Jack's, and in that silent, powerful instant, he understood. This journey wasn't just about finding a temple. It was about finding a deeper connection to the jungle itself, understanding its power and respecting its dangers. As the jaguar melted back into the shadows, Jack and Maria entered the temple. The walls were covered with ancient carvings, telling the stories of a civilization long since vanished. Jack could feel the weight of centuries all around him, the silent stories that had been buried for so long. They reached the heart of the temple. There, on a stone pedestal, lay a golden artifact, shimmering in a single beam of light. Jack's heart raced as he approached it, his hand reaching out instinctively. But before his fingers could make contact, Maria stopped him. "Wait, Jack. This isn't just treasure. It's a warning." He hesitated, but then something deep within him stirred, a profound sense of respect for this land and for the people who had once lived here. He understood. This discovery wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about understanding the past and honoring its lessons. The journey Jack had undertaken was more than just an adventure. It was a lesson in respect, for history, for the land, and for the people who came before him. He learned that every discovery carries a weight, a responsibility. It wasn't just about unearthing the past. It was about understanding it and ensuring its preservation for the future. Jack realized that the true treasure wasn't made of gold or jewels. It was the knowledge gained by truly listening to the stories of the past. It was a powerful reminder that our world is a rich tapestry of stories, each one deserving of respect. And perhaps most importantly, Jack learned that adventure isn't always about the destination. Sometimes it is about the journey itself, about having the courage to step into the unknown and allowing yourself to be changed by it. If Jack's story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs a reminder that the world is full of hidden treasures and untold stories. Remember, the next time you feel that pull toward the unknown, take that first step. You never know where it might lead. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire adventure.